YouTube, what's going on? Black Phoenix here, bringing you the YouTube view, another YouTube video. And I know what you're thinking. Phoenix, where are you in the playbook breakdowns? To be honest, um, the main thing that I wanted to get done before I, started on playbook breakdowns was making sure my scheme was all the way down. And I'm still figuring out little bits and pieces of my scheme for offense and defense. So I've been doing that. I've been in the lab heavily. I've been looking at all the playbooks, figuring out which book works for me. And I have a couple of books that I can run and feel comfortable with in terms of schemes. But let me ask you, the main thing is that I've been kind of lazy when it comes to making the playbook breakdowns, just because I've been trying to figure out my work schedule, because I'm supposed to be changing like workplaces sometime soon. And I've been trying to figure out like what's the schedule, like when I can record, when I can stream, things of that nature. So a lot of times, most of the time, I've been streaming. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, make sure to do that. But let me get into the main thing of this video, and which is the playbook predictions. I don't know why it's showing me that. Okay, whatever. Which is the playbook predictions that I've been having about from Madden 15. So if you guys haven't checked out that video, I put out a video kind of just illustrating like what playbooks will be popular at the beginning of Madden 16. And for the most part, I've been essentially right on which playbooks were going to be great, which playbooks were going to be kind of which playbooks are going to be kind of terrible. So let me say this before I begin on the results here, that EA has kind of done a good job in making sure that all playbooks are good and usable in this game compared to last year, where it's like, okay, well, this playbook is this is the best playbook in the game, whereas another playbook would be like the worst playbook ever. You couldn't get couldn't get a scheme off it. But they've done a good job to where like every playbook is actually usable. It's just on user preference on which formations that you like and which are to your style, and or if you bought an ebook, whatever, and just feel like being lazy, you obviously use the book that most people are running. But for the most part, I have a top 10 in mind of the best playbooks in the game for me personally as a playbook breakdown person. So let me say this: this is no particular order when it's the top 10. But let's begin. So the first one is Arizona. Arizona is probably one of the best books in the game in terms of effective shotgun plays. Last year, Arizona was more shotgun. You stayed in shotgun. Like single back was terrible, and they kind of upped the single back game a little bit to actually give them a little bit of a ground game. But they also upgraded the pass game like tremendously. The gun bunch halfback strong is probably like one of the best gun bunches in the game. And not only that, just their other shotgun plays and split close, which has become madly popular these days. But we ran it last year, though, so they sleep. But Arizona's book is probably one of the top 10 books in the game. Baltimore, like I said, I thought last year they were going to keep it the same, but since they changed offensive coordinators to Mark Trestman, Baltimore's kind of nerfed. It's good for passing plays, but it's not the same style that I like to run it. So basically, the Baltimore Ravens book from last year that I ran is now going to be, for the most part, at least in Houston's playbook. So there's a little bit of familiarity with their playbook. I'm running that again. Even still, Houston was basically just my 2A playbook anyway. So no changes, just a couple of minor formation changes with U trips added to Houston's. So basically, if I ever want to run the same stuff from Madden 15, I'll go back to Houston playbook. But anyways, number 2 playbook that I'm starting to see a lot of people use, and it's very good, the Browns. Strong close, once again, split close with the 2 halfbacks instead of the halfback and tight end. So that's becoming wildly popular. I think Rose Bowl uses that kind of playbook. I think, and just other people are starting to kind of pick up on it, but it's kind of dying down. Dallas Cowboys, still one of the top. So that's like number 3 in the top 10. Wildly good. I've been actually using the Cowboys for a little bit of time, like off stream, even trying them out on stream, online, head-to-head games, and they're really, really powerful if you know how to use their formations properly. Good pistol game. It's ace twins, I think wide trips and pistol bunch. Great shotgun plays, great run game, great double set. Definitely put them in the top 10. Broncos, not so much this year. A lot of people probably ask me, what about Gary Kubiak, Peyton Manning, pistol offense? Pistol's been nerfed this year. Pistol's been so nerfed this year that nobody really runs it. Like, you still get the person that still runs the halfback counters, strong powers here and there, but pistol is not nearly as good as it used to be. So, Broncos, to me, have been taken out of the top 10. It's still like top 15, top 12 book in terms of just pure offense, but yeah, it's been kind of nerfed now that pistol is pretty much not the same anymore. The Lions book, I still believe, is top 10. Now, the big flaw in the Lions book is that they don't have any kind of bunch, either single back gun or pistol bunch. No bunch sets that people like to run, or I like to run personally. So it kind of takes a little bit of a step down in the pegging order. But I still believe overall the Lions book is a huge sleeper. Huge sleeper. Still kind of Saints 2.0 in a way. But I still believe Lions book is one that you check out. Green Bay, as always, top 5. Consistently good, time in and time out, no question about it. Nothing else to really say. Just good shotgun plays, good sets, good passing plays, good run game with their wing sets and double sets. Make sure to check them out. The Colts have kind of taken a step up as well. The big thing for them is I don't really like their gun bunch tight end as well. So I think that was, what, 4? Colts is probably 5 here. Now, if y'all remember, Colts was like super run heavy last year with the like ridiculous amount of I formations. Like Hulk used to be in there too, but it's not anymore. They took that out. But now it's a little bit, they took out some of the I formations out of there and put in more shotgun formation, so it's becoming more, a little bit more pass heavy, but you still get a good balance of heavy run game as well, and still have the split close game in there. So Colts is another top 5 book. Minnesota, once again from last year, Minnesota is definitely good if you haven't checked them out. Once again, great run, and they were the same as the Colts, where they had like a lot of I formations, not enough shotgun. But with North Turner and the changes they made to this book this year, is definitely one of those sleeper playbooks once again. New England, top book, top 3 easily. Great, like they added what I wanted in the book. Now, this used to be the book I used to run like constantly, but now that everybody's kind of running it, or you see a good deal, I kind of like I'm shying away from New England, but I will still use it if ever the case where, I just want to get my main offense on the field. Like New England is that book. They got rid of the deuce wing, added single back bigs. They've got great shotgun formations with gun bunch, split close, which used to be kind of missing from the Pats. I mean, they still had a good split flex, but split close takes us up a whole nother level in terms of being able to execute on offense. So Patriots, I say, is top 3, if not probably the best book in the game. Now the Saints, I still put them in my top 10, so that was what, 5, 6. Now we're probably in 6 or 7. I lost count. But Saints is still good on offense. Now, like I said, pistol bunch tight end is not nearly as effective as it used to be. Thankfully, because people are starting to actually use more variety in offenses. Either single back or gun. Now, can you still rock a pistol bunch tight end as a passing formation? Probably, but it's not the same where you fade the middle receiver, the slot receiver, or whatever, middle of the bunch receiver, and just chuck it up and get face caught on. Like, no, that's not working anymore. You still can. I think I've seen somebody run cross drags against me. It's still kind of effective, but it's not nearly the same. So Saints book, but besides that though, like in terms of like iPhones, single back guns, Saints is still up there in terms of offense. It's just that people don't utilize. It's the same thing as last year when it came to pistol. People don't utilize how good Saints actually is for offense besides the cheesy stuff. So I definitely say Saints are still top 10 in my opinion. Moving on here. Another big change is that I passed over them, but the Dolphins, Raiders are kind of like the Eagles book this year. I still see people using Eagles book. It's not nearly as effective as it used to be. It's still kind of a headache to defend with the PA swings and this new Eagles play that's like Eagles switch out of like split back or something like that out of gun. But it's one of those playbooks where like it's basically the same as last year. Like people only run like 2 or 3 or 4 plays out of it, and that's it. Like other than that, that's it. Like they don't run anything too spectacular. Like yeah, it's pretty much finito. The same thing Raiders and Miami. Like now the Raiders and Miami have similar sets, but they have probably like a little bit better single back plays or maybe some difference in shy them. But they basically turn into the Eagles when it comes to offensive execution here. Now Pittsburgh, I still believe is top 10. By the way, Eagles is, I guess, for your bang for your buck, that's what, 8. But Pittsburgh, another one that I say is top 10. They've been consistently good for years. Still got the great 5 wide out of empty stealer. Still got good shotgun plays. They've added pistol with slot wing, and I think another one that I can't think off the top of my head. But Pittsburgh is still the book to use if you haven't checked that one out. And I want to say, if that was 8, let's just count that as 8. Seattle. Now, this one used to be kind of more run heavy, but Seattle took a step up in the pass game. It's definitely usable. You can definitely dual hat it more. It's still more you want to run first then pass, and still have the mobile QB to do all that. But Seattle is vastly improved. Vastly improved. I highly recommend them if you're looking to have a run first heavy playbook. San Fran, same thing. It's not. I don't count this as top 10, by the way. But San Fran definitely still more of the run heavy stuff in there. A little bit more balance to it though, with the shotgun plays like between run and pass. But for the most part, still pistol, full house, run the rock, then pass later on. So that's a good one. Another one that I like is Tennessee's. I like Tennessee's. It's completely different than every other offense in the game. With their sets, I think it's because of Mariota coming in as their quarterback, so a little bit of Oregon stuff in there with Ken Wisenhunt's offense. So Titans book is probably moved up to top 10 status. So once again, a recap, you have Arizona. Let me make sure I count this right. Arizona, that's 1. You have Cleveland is 2, Dallas 3, Lions 4, Packers 5. Between, I say 5A, 5B, Colts and Texans, depending on what your style is. So let's just say that's 5. Minnesota 6, Pats 7, Saints 8. I guess Steelers 9, Eagles, at least for my taste, it's not. I guess 10 is Seattle though, and I guess 11, close. Like it's basically like 10A, 10B is, and 10C are Titans and Eagles. So. I mean, you can go either way with those. That's why I say like 10A, 10B, 10C with those books. So that is it, guys. That's, for the most part, like I said, my playbook predictions have came true. For the most part, like I said, Baltimore unfortunately took a step down. But overall, EA's done a good job with offense in terms of balancing it to where every playbook is usable. So playbook breakdowns officially start next week on my channel, the official playbook breakdowns. Not if you see playbook breakdowns anywhere else, they're not going to do it like me. There's false information. That's not where you want to go. You want to come straight here to this channel for playbook breakdowns for the good stuff, and I promise to give you guys a good breakdown each week. Now this time, instead of doing it by just bouncing around randomly, we're just going to go in team order here. So we're going to start off with the Bears and then work our way down to the point where we get to the we start off with the Bears and we go all the way down to the Vikings book. So we're just going to keep it in order just for A, simplicity, B, so that way, you know, if your favorite team or favorite book is coming out, you can get excited a little bit. And C, it just works better for me, so that way I can never be like, oh, well, what book should I feel like doing this time? You know, just keep it simple. So look for that next week. We're going to start with the Bears. They have a really good book. Can't wait to talk about them in the next playbook breakdown from Madden 16. So keep it locked here. All right, see you guys in the next video. I'm out. 5Gs. Peace.